Greenland, around the year 1000. The world was far larger than most people realized. Europeans knew little about what existed beyond the Atlantic Ocean. The sea was mysterious, dangerous, and largely unexplored. Yet among the Norse people, stories circulated about lands farther west, lands no one had fully explored. The Vikings were already famous for their seafaring abilities. Their ships crossed rough oceans. Their settlements stretched from Scandinavia to Iceland and Greenland. Where others saw the edge of the known world, the Vikings saw opportunity. One of the most famous Viking explorers was Leif Erikson, the son of Eric the Red, the founder of Greenland's first Norse settlement. Leif grew up surrounded by stories of exploration. Adventure was part of his world. According to Viking sagas, a sailor named Bjarni Herjolfsson had accidentally sighted unknown lands west of Greenland after being blown off course. Unlike many explorers, Bjarni never went ashore, but his story sparked curiosity. If land existed farther west, what was it? Leif Erikson wanted answers. He purchased Bjarni's ship and organized an expedition. With a small crew, he sailed west into the unknown. The journey was dangerous. The North Atlantic is one of the harshest oceans on Earth. Storms could appear without warning. Massive waves threatened wooden ships. Navigation depended on experience, memory, and the stars. Yet the Vikings pushed onward. Eventually, they spotted land. According to the sagas, they first encountered a rocky region they called Helluland. Many historians believe this may have been Baffin Island. Continuing south, they reached a forested area they called Markland, possibly part of modern Labrador. But Leif continued exploring. Then he found something remarkable: a land with milder weather, rivers, and abundant natural resources. The Vikings called it Vinland. Exactly where Vinland was located remains debated, but many scholars believe it included parts of modern Newfoundland. The discovery was extraordinary. Greenland lacked large forests, timber was valuable. Vinland offered resources that Norse settlers desperately needed. The Vikings established a settlement. They built structures, explored the surrounding region, and prepared to spend time in this new land. For a brief moment, it seemed possible that a permanent Viking colony might thrive in North America. But life on the frontier was never easy. The Norse encountered indigenous peoples whom the sagas referred to as Skraelings. At first, some interactions may have involved trade, but tensions eventually developed. The Viking settlers were also isolated. The distance from Greenland made support difficult. Maintaining a colony across the Atlantic proved challenging. Over time, the settlement was abandoned. The Vikings returned home. And as generations passed, the stories became legends. Centuries later, Christopher Columbus crossed the Atlantic in 1492. For a long time, many people believed he had been the first European to reach the Americas. The Viking stories were often dismissed as myths, interesting tales, but not reliable history. Then came a remarkable discovery. In the 1960s, archaeologists uncovered the remains of a Norse settlement at Lunso Meadows in Newfoundland, Canada. The site contained unmistakable evidence of Viking occupation: buildings, artifacts, iron-working remains. Everything pointed to one conclusion: the Vikings had reached North America centuries before Columbus. The discovery stunned historians. The old sagas suddenly appeared far more credible. Stories once considered legends contained genuine historical truth. Today, Lunso Meadows stands as one of the most important archaeological sites in the Americas. It provides direct evidence of early transatlantic exploration. The Vikings had crossed oceans long before the age of Columbus. They had reached a new continent, built settlements, and left behind traces of their presence. Although their colonies did not last, their achievement remains extraordinary. They sailed into unknown waters with little more than skill, courage, and determination. They reached lands no European had previously documented, and they expanded humanity's understanding of the world. The story of Leif Erikson and Vinland reminds us that history is often more complicated than we imagine. Great discoveries are rarely the work of a single person. Exploration unfolds over generations, voyage after voyage, risk after risk, and sometimes the truth survives hidden inside ancient stories. Stories that, centuries later, turn out to be real. 500 years before Columbus, the Vikings had already arrived, and their journey remains one of history's greatest adventures.